and greeting to all patrons. Now we're going to start a new section here, and that is we're going to show how to cover all of the Affordaplane components, do the fabric covering. And I will have the very first part in this series out in just a day or two. I want to introduce the tools and materials that I'll be using in these following sessions to at least give you a basis of what I'm working with. First of all, I've done a little bit of fabric covering. I'm no expert at all, but I have done other ultralights and have had some experience with the poly fiber system. And now we're on to the Stewarts system. And the good news is we're going to use the Stewarts system for this aircraft because it is water-based. And believe me, I can speak from experience after working with the poly fiber system and now with the Stewarts system. You want to work with the Stewarts systems. It's just so much better for your health and also for the fumes that go off, the cleanup, and the money. It is just so much nicer to work with it. Certified aircraft use both systems, so both are fully accredited by the FAA. That's not so much a concern here, but I just want you to have the background that the Stewarts system is the system that will work on any aircraft. It's just as good as polyfiber when it comes to regulations, I guess is what I'm saying. So the Stewarts system basically is the glues that we use to attach the fabric are water-based, so they clean up with water, they dilute with water. It's just something that's much more intuitive than the solvent-based polyfiber systems, which has lots of fumes, and I'm sure I have killed quite a few brain cells back when I used it quite a bit, unless you have some top-notch respirating equipment for the polyfiber system, you will definitely damage yourself. And also, it leaches through the skin. The Stewarts system, I have no problem touching it, getting it over my hands, any more than you would latex paint, right? So just use good judgment. Now, the fabric we're going to use to cover this plane is similar to conventional aircraft, except if you want to, the manufacturers have a very lightweight version of the fabric. In fact, I have some here. You cannot tell the difference other than it is a bit thinner, but the good news is that it's lighter. So to summarize this, you can use any fabric you want on your Affordaplane. I'm using the lightest version of the fabric. Basically two big manufacturers. There's the polyfiber brand of fabric and there's the Superflight brand of fabric. Doesn't matter, they're both made out of the same thing, and weight wise they both have a light version that is very similar in weight, so either one you want. When you look at the descriptions, when you go to purchase this from your favorite aircraft supply store, you want to get the uncertified lightweight version. It's uncertified because it is so light that it is not really allowed on full-blown aircraft. Perfect for ultralights. That's what I'm using. It's a little less expensive and it is definitely lighter. You will save overall on the entire plane a couple of pounds. So it's worth doing that. So go with the lightweight version. Doesn't matter who you buy it from or what brand it is, Superflight or polyfiber. They're both essentially the same, but get the lightweight version. One way to verify that you got the lightweight version, it should weigh in the area of 1.7 ounces per square yard. Okay, the other tools that you need to have are down here on this table. Let's take a look at those. First off, here is the Stewarts glue. It's called EcoBond, E-K-O Bond. You can get this from any of your favorite aircraft suppliers that carry it. We're going to end up using about 2 quarts. You can buy it by the gallon or by the quart. Definitely cheaper by the gallon, but you probably won't use that much for our plane. So 2 quarts of this. The only thing I'll mention is that you're not allowed to freeze it or it will ruin it. In fact, mine came with a freeze indicator that shows whether or not it has ever been frozen, because once it's frozen, it doesn't work right. Basically what this is a very high-grade contact cement, I guess is what I can say. It has some amazing properties of sticking after it dries, like any contact cement, but later we'll talk about how to use it. But you'll need at least to start out with a quart, probably end up needing 2 quarts when all is said and done. For cutting the fabric, you want to get a set of pinking shears. And if you can see it, that has serrated teeth. And what that does is give the fabric a uniform but jagged edge, which keeps it from fraying and also gives it a lot more surface area because of all the little mountains and valleys. Pinking shears. That's with a P, pinking. And then, of course, a pair of regular scissors. You definitely need an iron. This is an iron from the 70s or 80s. You just need an iron, inexpensive iron. Now, it has to have adjustable temperature, which they all do, and then you need a way to measure the temperature. You can get a mechanical gauge that you set on here, and that way you calibrate by, like I did, I made little marks on my control, 250 degrees, and wrote that down, 300, 350, etc. Little mechanical gauges are fine. They will have that at your aircraft supply store. Or what I already had was a heat gun. Let me grab that. These have become so inexpensive that I use it for all sorts of things. It's a case of where you pull the trigger and you can read whatever it says on there by aiming it at your iron. As long as your iron doesn't have a shiny surface, this works great. It tells you exactly in a moment how hot your iron is for calibration and just for verifying that you have the temperature right. You will need a little baby iron here. The reason is we are heating up small areas, and again, we want to be somewhat precise on our temperatures. This one is the one I got from the aircraft supply store. It has a digital readout. I think this was about $75, something like that. But boy, this comes in handy. It goes in places where the big one won't, and it's just real nice to have. It's pretty much a must. Doesn't have to be this fancy, but you got to have one of those. And that is really the requirements. Later we'll talk about finishing tapes. You may or may not use much of that as we get into it. But those are the basic materials that were needed that you'll see in the videos that are coming up. So how difficult is it to cover? So let me just set the record straight. It is not difficult. If I can do it, anybody can do it, is the way I would put it, because I do not have any special skills. I will give you a big tip. Where do you learn the techniques to do it? I am going to provide down below in the written area below the video some links, some YouTube links. These are links of a professional Stewarts person explaining and covering some airplane parts. You simply need to watch these videos. I have watched them over and over. I'm kind of a slow learner, but it's so fun to watch and listen to him talk. He covers everything that we are covering, and he explains how to do the fabric, how to do the glue, how to cut the fabric, how to iron it on, all of that stuff. You're not going to learn the techniques from me. What you will learn from me, though, is if you have watched those videos and you got the techniques in your head after watching them, then I will show you how I covered the Affordaplane stabilizer, vertical stabilizer, horizontal stabilizer, how I covered the ailerons, how I covered the wings, etc. So I'm not going to be showing you covering techniques as much as how to apply those techniques to our airframe parts. So between the links I'm going to give you and watching my videos, you'll have no problem covering this plane. It's actually kind of a fun thing once you get into it. It really is, because after you've covered your first one, you'll say, hey, that's not bad. And by the way, at any time, if you think you've messed something up, you can rip the fabric off and do it again. You know, so this is not a, like, you're going to ruin something really bad after all your work. I mean, you might ruin the fabric, rip it off. I found that I never ruined the fabric. I did find that my last piece that I covered looks a lot better than my first piece, and that's just because of, as you learn, the skills and whatnot. If you need a show plane, have it professionally covered. If you want a beautiful looking plane that you covered yourself, do it yourself, because you can do a great job. Yes, the pros can do it better. And then a lot of stuff can be covered up by the painting. And I know I've showed some videos on how I very inexpensively painted things. My last comment will be on those asking about the Oritex system. Now, Oritex is a different fabric covering system. It's where the fabric is already been painted and coated. You just need to put it on and it's done. Why am I not using that? Doesn't that make things simpler? Well, yes and no. The reason is, until you price Oritex, you will have no idea the difference in cost based on what we're doing with the Affordaplane. My example is this. First of all, when you buy fabric, this fabric will cost about between $5 and $10 per square yard. Now, don't get confused. When you buy it at the store, you will pay for it by the running yard, but that running yard, I believe, has 2 actually square yards in it. But anyhow, roughly somewhere in the $5 to $10 per yard cost. What I'm holding here is all scrap. When you buy these sheets, you can only use so much of it. You have to cut off based on the size of the rudder and the stabilizer and the wing and stuff. And the pieces that are left over, you really can't use for anything. That's not a huge deal at $5 to $10. Oritex is like 5 to 10 times this cost. So when you throw away all of the scrap, you're throwing away money. They don't want it back. The reason also is this. We're using inexpensive latex paints. Or I am on my plane. The complete covering with painting on the entire aircraft, in my case, will be in the hundreds of dollars, maybe $300, $400, $500. If you were to use Oritex, you would be into the $3,000, $4,000s of dollars. Go price it if you don't believe me, and you let me know if I'm wrong about that. Because remember, you have to buy not what covers the plane, but enough from the roll, including the scrap, to cover the plane, and that is a huge amount. So other than that, Oritex is a great product, but again, for the Affordaplane, this is the only thing that makes sense for that. So stay tuned for our upcoming covering videos on the specific components of the Affordaplane. In the meantime, watch those links I'm listing down there. You have to watch those to get the techniques for the actual covering. They're very easy to watch and enjoyable. The guy that does these videos is really good.